Welcome to This Open House, where we talk about all things real estate related. With your hosts, David and Rebecca Guthrie of the Hacienda Group at Long Realty Company.
Welcome yet again, another episode of This Open House Show. I'm your host, David Guthrie, Hacienda Group, Long Realty Company, with my beautiful, amazing, brilliant, she's my wife, she's my boss, she's my best friend. She keeps it all together. This is Rebecca.
Hi, guys.
How's it going out there? We hope you are doing well. We enjoy doing this show. We hope you guys enjoy listening to it. And we'd love to have some show ideas. So if you have any show ideas or questions about the market, or maybe you'd like us to come talk about buying or selling a home, you can reach us. Call or text 520-462-2611. That's 520-462-2611. info@thisopenhouseshow.com is our email address, and you can get full MLS search 24/7 at www.thisopenhouseshow.com. Let's jump into some stats. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Sound like a plan?
That sounds like a plan.
All right, so stats as of October 5th when I pulled these.
How are we in October?
I don't know. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Like, I feel like because 2020 went so long, like
Yes.
April had 17,000 days, that 2021 has just gone really, really fast.
It is shot by super fast.
Okay, anyways, these are stats for this week.
And so is the market. But you know what's happening? Listings are starting to come back. We are currently sitting at 1,244 current active listings.
That's
That
exciting.
is up from 1,150 on September 14th. And so we have had an increase, but we're also, having an increase in pending home sales. The lack of inventory was getting so low. You can look at like a car lot or something.
Yes.
Where, you got somebody who's consistently pushing, 100 cars a month out the door, and he's doing that, and all of a sudden he pushes 80 cars out, and you say, well, what's going on? A buyer's not buying? Well, no, I only had 80 cars to sell.
Right.
I could have sold 120 of them.
Right.
But,
I sold 100% of what it was available to sell.
I sold what I could sell, right? So, that's really kind of what's happening here. Housing obviously is very different than the car market or any other market. And so just like in any time in real estate, there's always those astronauts that want their house to be worth, whatever today is, let's shoot the moon and we're going to make it this. Or you've got the crazy cat lady with 500 cats, and she thinks it smells great.
Right.
Those houses are probably going to sit a little bit. So these are some anomalies here. But, this is a good thing. Don't think that all of a sudden, inventory's shooting up. What's going on? Is it going to crash? No. Last 4 to 6 months, our median sales price was $285,000. Now it is up to $296,000. Days on market is still sitting at 5 on our sold statistic. It's up from 4 since the third week of May 2021. So the time on market here is still going very fast. There are a lot of our clients who are feeling that the market is even going faster. Keep in mind, this is averages here. So we're taking all of the things.
Right.
And, there are very good, well-priced homes that are clean, move-in ready, that are going to sell in a matter of hours still. So 5 days on market, it's about what we can expect. This kind of surprised me a little bit. Our percent of list price versus sale price. So it was sitting at 101% of list since about July of 2021. We're now down to 100% of list.
That does not surprise me.
Why is that?
Because of what I'm seeing with appraisals. I think that appraisers are getting more aggressive, and they are they're appraising lower.
Right.
And they're not taking into consideration the backup offers that go, hey, we got it on easy math. We got $100,000 house. We got it under contract for 105. We had 3 offers at 105. They used to look at that, and they're not looking at it as much. I feel I see.
That could be one of the things that's going on
I'm also
here.
seeing that a lot more houses seem to be coming back onto the market.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of stuff that's not that, so then you're reducing price.
Right.
And so, because when a house goes under contract and it comes back out of contract, you don't ever think, oh, maybe there's something wrong with the buyer. It's always
the house.
It's always the house, even though that's frequently not true, especially in this market.
Right.
A lot of times there's stuff with the buyer's loans.
Yeah,
So
there is stuff with the buyer's loans or employment or different
Right.
things like that.
Right.
One of the things, though, that I do see happening when I speak to sellers is, they say, well, the market's so crazy, let's just pump it up and do it. A lot of these people are putting money into the appearance of the home,
Yeah.
the cosmetics and all of that stuff. But, the main systems of these homes, like sewer, roof, electrical, I'm finding a lot of weird things on remodeled homes
Yes.
that are popping up where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, the seller chose to put money into, new flooring, but underneath the house, the foundation is falling apart.
Yeah,
And,
like literally.
Yeah, or roof issues or these other things. Sellers in any market out there, it's great to wash the outside of your cup, but you need to take a rag and clean the inside of the cup. And buyers who are feeling they're paying top dollar, even if they're paying 100% a list, whatever, they're paying top dollar, and they've seen what's happened over the last couple of months. And when they see, the roof is shot, it needs to be replaced, a lot of these buyers are pushing back and saying no. So that could also be one of the reasons why
Yeah.
we're seeing, a little bit of this elasticity start to limit on
Right. There's
these
not
offers.
a lot of elasticity with buyers. There's not a lot of elasticity with sellers, and
Right.
the mood in the air right now is just a lot more tense.
Yeah, it's a
I
little
don't-
bit tense,
I
a
don't
little
know what
bit
else.
tired.
Yeah. People are tense. People are tired.
Yep.
So
Yep. So we're sitting here. Let's talk about rents. So the median 3-bedroom rent right now is up a little bit more even. It's sitting at $1,625 per month. That's crazy. Rents have gone up 18% in the last year in Arizona. Different areas obviously have different numbers there, but when we take the whole state, that's about where we're at. Now, your median sales price for a 3-bedroom in the last 3 months is going to run you about $280,000 on average. Your PITI payment with 20% down, you're looking at about $1,283 a month. You're still saving about $342 a month. Owning versus renting, that doesn't take into account the tax considerations or any of these other things that can even make that a better benefit for you. So this is one of the reasons why Rebecca and I think we are not sitting, tip of the hill and it's all of a sudden going to start falling down. No, we've still got a lot of ways to go here. And in an inflationary economy, which right now what the official government numbers are 5.3%
yeah,
inflation.
those are official government numbers.
Yeah.
But go to the grocery store.
Yeah. We think it's a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah.
Rebecca, what were you saying? If
I
they
was
use
saying, I read an article 2 weeks ago that said that if we ran inflation numbers the way that we ran them through the 80s, that we would be at 15% inflation year over year, which feels much more close to right than
Right.
5%. Go look at anything.
Right. Go look at anything. And so even with rental increases of 18%, if we look at inflation numbers in that way, well, you're just kind of on even footing based on what your dollars can go for. So
Right.
that's what it is. Go to the grocery store, go anywhere else. Look at lumber, look at steel.
Right.
Why some of these prices of these commodities are coming down. They're still
Go check out how much gas costs. I mean,
Gas
it
is
just
going up.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah.
And the Wall Street Journal was talking about the other day that there may have been increases in real wages, but as a result of inflation, they're actually having a decrease in what they're actually being able to take home. So
Right.
fine, wages are going up, but if the cost of goods is also going up, you're not getting a net gain.
No, it's actually a loss.
Yeah.
I think the figure that I saw based on the average for minimum wage, that in reality it's only they're only making $8 an hour when you look at what that dollar can buy.
Right.
And so, kind of a paradigm shift there in monetary policy. Money definitely affects real estate and homes. So we talk about it. The dollar doesn't care if you've got a red tie or a blue tie in office. It is going to devalue as you print the heck out of it.
Right.
So, those things
You can't
matter.
be talking about trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. Those numbers they do actually mean something. They actually are impacting your pocketbook at the end of the day. So they're impacting your rent, or they're impacting your mortgage payment, or they're impacting putting gas in the car.
Right.
And all of that impacts what you can pay for housing.
Right. So best thing to look at, let's keep that dollar strong, protected. What can we do to do that? And that's going to translate into all sectors of our economy. Speaking of pricing, this is what we're going to be talking about today on the other side of the break. But just to give you a little preview here is what really is value? What is pricing?
How
what
is
are
it
some different
determined?
strategies
Right.
for that? And I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there in the industry. So my fellow colleagues, I love y'all, but I'm going to be talking straight to you guys on the other side of this break.
So we're going to head into a quick break, and we will catch you on the other side.
Are you interested in the real estate market? What does low inventory actually mean? Funny, real-life real estate stories and things you should never do if you're looking to buy or sell a home. Join me, David Guthrie, and my wife, Rebecca Guthrie. We are full-time real estate agents with the Hacienda Group at Long Realty Company for this open house on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on 1030 The Voice, where we will discuss all this and more. That's This Open House on Saturdays at 11 on 1030 The Voice.
Welcome again, David Guthrie, Hacienda Group, Long Realty Company, with my beautiful wife, Rebecca.
Hey guys, thanks for staying with us through the break. So on the other side of the break, we had talked about that we were going to talk about pricing, and what does that mean? And
what is value?
What is value?
What
How
is
do we
value?
determine that?
Let us explain this as if our audience is a bunch of kindergartners, and they're not. But I think it's important.
If you can explain it so that a 5-year-old understands it, then you really understand it.
Value, quite simply, is what is a seller willing to sell anything you can imagine for, and what is a buyer willing to pay for that thing? So value is when those two entities come together, buyer and seller, and agree on a price.
Yep.
That's really easy.
That's basically what it is.
There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of things that go into this, and so when we're talking about things like chips at the store or fizzy water these days, gosh, back in the day, I think you had a couple of choices for like mineral water and these kind of things, and all of a sudden, fizzy water started springing up,
or sparkling water, or bubbly water,
yeah,
whatever you want to call
whatever
it.
you call it, whatever your thing is, and then next thing you know, it's like, all right, Coca-Cola gets involved, and you see just this whole aisle full of flavored carbonated water, and it's taken off. Well, what does that do to pricing? Obviously, that changes things quite a bit. More choices, price goes down because supply goes up, demand goes down, prices can also drop. And so you have this relationship between supply, demand, value. And with fizzy water, strawberry fizzy water, it's real easy to make pricing, or with corn chips or whatever. Cars, relatively simple. I mean, you have different brands that are competing with each other, but name your brand. That's really what it's going to be. And sure, steel and availability of chips, all of this stuff is going to impact it. But at the end of the day, a car's a car, and it's pretty easy to compare and to value,
Right. Yes.
right? Housing, though, is quite a bit different. In housing, we have, even on the same block, we have two different products.
Yes.
There is no same house. Now, with a brand new build, one could argue, hey, The majority of these homes aren't going to have every single upgrade you could put in there. They're going to be kind of builder standard, normal stuff. 2,200 square foot home in this neighborhood is going to be basically the same as any others. Well, sure, those can kind of get things a little bit closer, but as properties age and get in there and people start changing things like kitchens or remodeling or adding pools, different things like this, then all of a sudden you're dealing with differences. Well, how do we deal with this? First of all, when we're looking at homes, let's pretend there is no difference. Let's say it's in that cookie cutter neighborhood, everything's exactly the same year built, no upgrades done to it. What is the house worth? Well, you've all heard the term comps. We're going to look at those comparables. We're going to go back in time, look in the rearview mirror, and we're going to see, well, what did that model or a model that's reasonably close in size and amenities, what did they sell for in the last 3 to 6 months? And any appraiser or any agent, even most likely any algorithm that's doing automated stuff, which you've heard my past episodes, I loathe, but even those, they're going to look at the most recent and what? Closest comparable. So the further we go out in the circle around a property, the less like it is. Yep. Okay. So there's kind of an art, there's kind of a science.
Right. So we're never so for example, we're never going to take a 2,200 square foot house in Oro Valley and compare it to a 22 square foot house in Rita Ranch. We're just never going to do that because they're not comparable. They're totally different areas. Yeah. The locations are different. The amenities by them are different. The whole thing is different. They're not comps. Even if they were created by the same builder, same floor plan, same builder, they're not comparables.
Bad comparables there. Now, what we might do if we have this geodome and there's only 20 of them in Arizona, we might be able to go say, hey, let's use this as comps, but in those cases we're going to be more concerned with what's the cost to rebuild and how do we depreciate based on age. So we've got some geeky methods that we can go look and do with these kind of things, but we're looking back in a rear view mirror, and that rear view mirror is always in the past. And what is constant? Change, right? It's always changing. Yep. So today's numbers are a little different. We can even adjust, using that word adjustments, we can adjust for time. Based on, well, how much is the market appreciated as a whole? Well, that sold 3 months ago. If it sold today, it'd be worth X amount more or less, depending on market going up or down. And so you have those kind of factors. Well, let's look at dissimilar properties that are good comps close by. Maybe they're within a couple hundred square foot of each other. One has a pool, one doesn't. Well, that's going to be an adjustment. Usually for most people, the pool is going to add value and people are going to want to see that. So that's going to bring the price up. Typically not where it's going to be, if you were to build that pool, it costs you more than what the adjusted value is going to be there. But we start looking at those things. We start looking at square footage differences, pools. I typically don't look at bedroom counts all that much because it's contained within the living square footage there. But parking, those kinds of things, okay? Updated flooring, updated kitchen, that kind of stuff. And then we can start adjusting these numbers for these comparables that occurred in the past, as well as active and pending comparables that represent what's under contract today, going to be tomorrow's sold. Right. Even though we don't always know exactly what those contract prices are, they're good indicators of where we are. And so we can go ahead and do that. We can start putting that data together with all these adjusted values. We can then average that and we can get a really good sense of what is any given property worth based on that. Well, then we take that, and that seems pretty simple. Usually people, they're going to go list that property. If the comps come in at 200, they're probably going to list it somewhere around that price. They're going to pick a price. They're going to put it on the market, and then they're going to go. Now, let me take you back to the grocery store, okay? If you were to walk into the grocery store and the grocers did what a lot of sellers and agents do in this market, let's talk about range pricing, okay? the grocery store goes and says, hey, this 6-pack of Stone India Pale Ale is range priced between $8 a 6-pack and $15 a 6-pack. I'm walking up to, I don't know about you, but I'm walking up to that register and I'm throwing $8 down on that register.
Yeah, if you want between $8 and $15, great, I'll pay $8.
Why not? Like what consumer wouldn't do that?
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm gonna go throw down $8. Now, if the person at the register says, hey, it's range priced, that $8 isn't gonna work.
Right.
I'm going to be kind of pissed.
We wanted you to pick it up and put it in your cart, but we're not letting it walk out the door for less than $15.
Yeah.
Well, you would never have picked up the 6-pack if you had known that they weren't going to let it walk out the door for less than $15.
Rebecca's picking up the fizzy water. I'm picking up the 6-pack.
It's true.
In our house.
It's totally true.
But we wouldn't. Nobody would do that.
No, I would put it back. We'd be like, okay,
I'd be angry.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be angry. And that's the point. I mean, if the grocery store was to employ that strategy, they never would because it's retarded, but they wouldn't employ that strategy. At least if the only buyer they have for that 6-pack comes in and says, you know what, hey, I'll give you $8 for it. Sell it.
Right.
You know, don't turn the person down and run away. Well, we have in real estate this idea of range pricing. Range price, seller will accept or counter offers between X and X. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've seen properties that when you look at the comparable method that I just talked about are worth maybe what the low end of that range is.
Right.
Maybe if the house is listed at a range price of $200,000 to $220,000, in the comps show 180 to 190, maybe, and a buyer comes and says, you know what, I'll give him 200 for it, especially because it's been sitting for 3 weeks and the average days on market is 5.
Right.
You know, I'm going to go make a full price offer and the seller says, oh, whoa, wait, it's range price, dude. Like,
right.
You need to come up, you know, we're really talking more 220 here. My question is, did you even really ever consider selling in that range? So here's how range pricing is done wrong. And a lot of you agents do it wrong out there. You go and you have an unrealistic seller who says, I'm not going to accept less than 220 for this house. But you know the house is worth 180, 190.
Right. And an appraiser's
normal...
never going to let it go. I mean, it's never going to appraise for a loan for 220. It's not.
Well, but we can always get the buyer just to give their life savings and their inheritance away,
yeah, right.
And waive that. But you go and you've got a seller that's unrealistic. You want to take the listing because, you know, heck, you need a sign in your front yard of somewhere. And you go tell the seller, you know what, let's range price it. Here's a great idea. We're going to do a range between 200 and 220. And then when buyers come in and offer, you can just counter back at the price you want. That's deceptive.
Right.
It's not the right marketing tactic.
No.
If you're going to do range pricing right, here's the way you do it, guys. We know value on housing isn't like Stone IPA or the fizzy water. It actually is in a range of value. And it's not really possible to get it down to the penny. Even in a community that has hundreds of homes that are the same, there are still differences. There's still a range. That's still the way it is. And range pricing is really successful when you take that range of value and you price it right in the middle. And you go, seller will accept low end of the range below your actual price, between that and the higher end of the range. Now, I realize I do it differently than most people do. I've looked at hundreds and hundreds of range price homes, and most people do not price their range price properties like that. But if you do it that way, you're going to have a better chance of success at getting that middle to upper end of the range. Furthermore, why in the world would you put on the MLS seller willing to accept or counter, and I get it, or counter between X and X, if they really have no intention of going that low? Do everybody a favor and don't put it that low. Only put it to as low down as the seller will go, not where the comps are, so you can accept an overpriced listing. And hopefully one day it will get sold. So, guys,
on that note,
I love y'all. I love working with y'all, but that is one of my pet peeves out here. And I hope our industry can change it. And I hope that we can go ahead and better ourselves. And for our sellers out there, 520-462-2611, We'll range price your home, but we're going to do it right, and I promise we'll get you top dollar for that house. Info at thisopenhouseshow.com, www.thisopenhouseshow.com. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.